24, Live Another Day, Episode 6 is now over, but we're just getting started here on 24 Live on post-show recaps. And now here are the two guys who just can't wait to hit enter. It's Rob Cesternino and Josh Wigler. Josh, how you doing, buddy?
Mole, 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 mole.
Holy moly.
Mole.
Oh my God. Oh my God, Josh.
A mole right there. Yes.
We've been on Mole Patrol since Episode 1.
paid
And
off.
we've certainly had our suspects, and the mole comes through for us tonight. As it turns out that not Jordan, as many of us suspected, but Navarro.
Steve Navarro, you jerk.
The old Benjamin Bratt.
Yeah, pulling a real Benji Bratt on us on this show here.
A real Benjamin Bratt. On a scale of 1 to 10, your surprise level that CIA director, is that the right title for him?
Yeah, he's the station chief.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. I am. I really thought that by going out into the field last week, that kind of ruled him out of the mix. And I guess the jury is still out on exactly what's going on. It didn't sound like he was talking to Margot Al-Harazi. So I'm not convinced that he's working with Margot, but he's certainly working with ulterior motives within the CIA.
Yes, basically there's a new subplot where, as we expected, that we heard way too much about Kate Morgan's husband. It was Chekhov's Kate Morgan's husband this season, because we kept hearing so much about him, we figured that was going to come up at some point. So apparently Navarro planted the evidence to make Morgan's husband get framed for this.
So I'm very confused as to why he would want that. Is it because he needed to hang this guy out to dry? Was it because he needed to cast doubt on Kate?
Was he the one giving the secrets to the Chinese?
I guess he very well may have been.
Was he trying to hit that?
I think. Well, come on. Of course he's trying to hit that.
It's typical, classic Navarro.
It's a very typical Steve move.
Typical Steve. All right, so we're going to talk about everything.
Pretty standard Steve.
We'll talk about who was on the other end of the phone call. We'll talk about who the world's worst aunt is. We'll talk about how online banking can track down people who have stolen drones. So a lot to do here on 24 Live. I see we've got a very lively crowd so far in the chat room. Welcome. We've also got our hashtag open on Twitter, hashtag PS Recaps. We've also got our YouTube channel open and are taking your comments there as well. We will get to as many as we can later on in the episode. Go to postshowrecaps.com/YouTube to post your comments today. And Josh, we had a big milestone on the Post Show Recaps YouTube channel, 4,000 subscribers today.
Oh my God! Well, I will say that's awesome, but I will not rest until we get up to 24,000.
Whoa! That would be huge.
We're a little while away from that, but that would be awesome. Let's do it.
I'm very excited with all the support we've gotten for on YouTube and also on iTunes for all of the post-show recaps that we've been doing. We only launched this in the beginning of February, so where it was the beginning of June. So really, in just 4 months here. We've had so much fun with you guys and gotten so much support, and we really appreciate everything so far. We're just going to keep building and adding more shows and hopefully continue to have a lot of fun along the way.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. I'm really psyched up about that. That it's really been a pretty short run so far, and it feels like we've been at it for a little while. So I'm having a blast. I know you're having a good time, Rob, and I hope that everybody listening and watching is having fun. And as long as everybody's having fun, I think we're going to keep doing it for a while.
And last night we had another milestone on our Game of Thrones live podcast that we had my first ever on-air earthquake here, and you can see a look of terror in my face around 17 minutes into last night's Game of Thrones recap.
Yeah, I feel like it happened on the wrong night because earthquakes were the plot device in 24 The Game. So I feel like that would have been appropriate to happen tonight. Not that I'm willing another earthquake to happen tonight, Rob.
Yeah, I think
I've got wood. I'm knocking on wood.
Whoa! Hey now.
I don't have. Oh, I can't back out of that one. Let's just go with that.
All right. So
stay right there.
All right. Let's stick with the big storyline here of this news that Navarro is working with somebody. Who's on the other end of the phone call?
Well, so it's one of those classic, like, garbled, deep computer type voices, right? It's like somebody got their hands on the Scream Hoogie Doogie. And I feel like
Do you like scary movies, Navarro?
I don't. I'm very scared of that stuff. I like romantic comedies. That's a very bad Steve Navarro impression. I think that the only defining thing I could catch about this guy on the other end is that it's a male, and he sounded British, right? Didn't he sound British to you?
Yeah, he seemed to have a little bit of an accent there.
So there's two lead theories that can stem from that, I think. One would be Adrian Cross, who is, obviously we know is very dialed into stuff, and maybe he would be some kind of middleman who's selling secrets to the Chinese. I feel like he would be positioned for that. And then the Prime Minister, maybe. Maybe there's something going on where Steve Navarro is reporting to the Prime Minister for some reason, and that's another reason why the Prime Minister really wanted to kind of get his hands on this operation tonight without the Americans interfering. So those are my two theories right now, or it could be someone we don't know, or I could be completely off on the British thing. So
could it be one of these things where, like in the first season of 24, they had a mole, but they just like were figuring it out as they go along? Do you think is that possible that they don't even know who it was going to be yet?
Let me let you in on a little secret here. I think that the writers of 24 don't know what they're doing a lot of the time. And I mean that as a compliment. That's how they've always worked. They don't start a season knowing how these days are going to end. They kind of break it by hour. I think that they've said 4-hour or 6-hour chunks in the past. And I think that's how they're working this time. There was someone linked us to a USA Today article about 24 Live Another Day and what some of the struggles the writers have been facing with this reduced format of only 12 episodes to tell 24 hours in. And the writers were like, yeah, we are running into a lot of the same issues as what we ran into last time. Is we're literally like Jack Bauer. We are running out of time to tell certain stories. So I think that there are times when they bite off a little more than they can chew, and I think they improvise a lot. They kind of go on the fly, and I would imagine that when they sat down and created the Benjamin Bratt character and all of these different characters, I'm not convinced that they knew who the mole was. I think that they knew that they wanted to do a mole, and I think somewhere along the way, Benji Bratt became the guy.
I think you might be onto something that Adrian is the guy because he does have the right accent, and also he would be a guy who'd be able to whatever protocols they did or whatever the right terminology is. And I'm sure I have it in my notes, but I don't remember it off the top of my head. But whatever things were missing or that was in the computer system, he's one of the only people that would be able to do that. So that makes a lot of sense. I think I am fully on board with that theory. I feel like 80%.
Yeah, I think it's a good theory. I think it would be a way to kind of keep him involved in the storyline, because I'm kind of struggling to see how he gets back into it otherwise. Open Cell packed up and left, and Chloe and Belchek were kind of left on their own. So how does Adrian Cross come back into the mix? And I feel like that guy is Michael Wincott. He's a great actor. He's a series regular. He's in the opening credits, so they're not just going to use him for 3 episodes and then drop him. So he's going to come back into the mix eventually. And I feel
Credit spoilers?
What's that? Credit spoilers?
Yes.
I mean, if you consider that a spoiler, I don't think it's a spoiler when you know that somebody has a job on the show. So I think that he's going to have to come back into the mix, and I think that this is a good way to bring him back. I'm having a little bit of trouble tonight, Rob, putting my Jordan Reed is the mole theory to rest. I was so sure.
They've done that so many times that the analyst.
I was like Kate Morgan. I was missing it the whole time. The answer was in front of me. I didn't know.
Don't beat yourself up. I mean, you're like Kate Morgan, and I'm like Navarro. Like, Josh, I know you're probably just upset with yourself for missing something that was right in front of your face, but that's it. It happens.
Wow, yeah, he's a real jerk. Go back and watch those scenes where he's like, yeah, Kate, it could have happened to any one of us. Any one of us could have missed this one. That's totally just me.
Go clean out your desk. Also,
Right.
we're taking you off the force. Even last week, he's like, I would if I could. Don't think I didn't try, but could not get you back on the force for anything.
What a boner, that guy. Why was he on the field then? If he's the mole, if he's moly moly moly, why would he put himself in harm's way? So that's
I don't think he's working with Margot Al-Harazi.
So two separate things.
Yes, I think that he is basically, for whatever reason, trying to get Kate Morgan off the force and make her look bad. But that I don't think that he has anything to do with the drone attack.
So revised theory, Jordan Reed, not the mole, sincerely in love with Kate Morgan, totally going to sacrifice his life to save hers, and Benjamin Bratt is going to kill him.
Whoa. Okay. We'll see. Now, Adrian might be involved with Margot Al-Harazi. Like that's possible that, Benjamin Bratt didn't realize that he was connected to somebody who was connected. Or there could be another big bad that's on top of the Al-Harazis.
Well, 24 does love to bring in like an 11th hour villain. You get to those final hours of the day and the real bad guy emerges.
Hey, we're halfway there, Josh. That's 12 episodes, 6 are down.
We're halfway there. I think that maybe that could be what has just happened here with the other guy on the other end of the phone. Maybe that is the true villain of the day, or a new villain in the day. So we'll see. I'm very interested. I like where this is going. I really like tonight's episode. You and I talked offline a little bit about maybe there were a few things that went over our head with some of the technical jargon, but I thought it was a really fun episode. It's the first episode in a while where Jack has actually been out on the field doing things. He shot some people. He killed some people.
Jack got his kill count up tonight.
He got his kill count up by 3, according to Jeff and Nicholas on Twitter, who thank you guys for giving me that stat. Three kills for Jack Bauer tonight, and I believe 2 kills for Kate Morgan. So, yeah, it was an action-packed episode. I was pretty pumped up.
All right, let's get into the episode. I'm sure we'll cover everything along the way. So we sort of had the fallout from last week's bombing, or was it a gas leak?
It could have been a gas leak.
So,
gas leak over here, I'm telling you.
Whoa. So the Prime Minister is over there, and they're sort of trying to get everything together. And I couldn't tell if what Heller said there, he kind of said it under his breath. Did he actually repeat himself at one point?
Yeah, he's basically telling his military advisor to start coordinating with the UK. And the military advisor goes off to start doing that, and then Heller is like, military advisor guy, you should be coordinating with the UK. And then he stops himself and goes, I'm repeating myself. This is embarrassing.
Yeah. As expected earlier this season, when President Heller mentioned that his condition was worsening, we did expect it to significantly get worse as the day moved on here.
Yeah, it is. It's escalating quickly.
It's escalated quickly since 5 hours ago when he said it's getting worse. It is getting worse.
Yeah, it's getting bad. It's getting
and in fairness to President Heller, I'm sure that stress does not help it. So, the biggest crisis of his presidency, I'm sure, does not help matters.
No, definitely not. This is a lot to put on any president, let alone one who is mentally deteriorating, who's losing control of his faculties and his judgment. It's not good. It's a bad situation for President Heller.
So what do you do when your back is against the wall and you're the president of the United States and you may or may not have Alzheimer's? Get me Jack Bauer.
You call JB.
Get him in there. They get him in there. But meanwhile, the British and the Brits were kind of jerks in this episode.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, they
jerky.
were. And they definitely screwed things up by cutting the Americans out of the deal and not talking to Heller, because Heller would have been like, yeah, Bauer knocks his people out all the time. This is what he does. It's just another. It's a gambit to infiltrate the group. Just trust them. Just let him do it.
Yeah.
He would have smoothed that over pretty quick. But the British don't know Bauer, and frankly, they have reason not to trust the Americans. There have been bombs going off on UK soil because of U.S. drones that are being taken over, because Margot Al-Harazi wants James Heller's head on a silver platter. And not only that, James Heller is not in control, and the prime minister knows that now. So he's got reason to not want to work super closely with President Heller. It just turns out to be, kind of the wrong call in the end. But I understand why he made the call.
He finds out from one of their intelligence agents that basically President Heller has Alzheimer's, and the British Prime Minister was like, "Oh God, help us!"
Yeah.
Oh no, we're really in trouble. So they're really just like, they're basically just going completely behind his back, 100% of the way now.
Yeah, they're just taking matters into their own hands. So that's where we're going, and a lot of people died because of it.
All right, let's talk about Jack Bauer's meeting with President Heller. And basically they had a standoff last week where President Heller was like, "That's a big ask, Jack." And he didn't want to give in, but then he's like, "All right, I've reconsidered. We are going to give you everything that you want." And so he asked Jack the question, so do you think this guy would be willing to make a deal with us?
No, and he won't be bought, and we can't break him.
And Jack, I felt like, was a little patronizing here with the president. Jack Bauer said, "Like I told you before, sir." Jack had to, again, Jack doesn't know about the president's condition.
Well,
or does he?
I think he's sussing him out there, because when he walks into the room to meet with the president, Heller is like reclining in his chair, just like chugging his pills. He puts the pill bottle down. Bauer comes in, and Bauer looks at the pill bottle. He sees the pill bottle before he takes a seat. He never says anything, but he knows he can. That's like the Bauer cue that he sees that something is wrong with James. He knows that something's up with Jimbo Heller.
Oh my God. Yeah. So Jack, he definitely would, noticed something was off with the president. Maybe he knows him so well, he knows he wouldn't have to repeat himself.
Right. Exactly. I think he's figuring it out.
All right. So that the president calls in Navarro, and now Navarro is kind of moly here in retrospect here, because the president is telling Navarro, "Hey, we put Jack Bauer out in the field. Don't tell anybody where he is." And he's really second-guessing him.
Yeah, he's second-guessing him. He doesn't want Bauer out on the field, because why would anyone want Bauer out on the field? That is a guy who can do things and accomplish stuff. And if you're the mole, you don't want people to accomplish things. So, of course, he does not want Jack on the field. Makes total sense in retrospect.
And Jack Bauer also wants Kate Morgan, and Navarro says, no way. Can't do it. Can't do it.
Yeah, because she is also a badass, and he also knows that she can do stuff. So two people who can do stuff is really bad.
And so I really loved Heller's line that he said, "Hey, Jack wants her, Jack needs her, Jack gets her."
That is got to be a T-shirt by the end of the week. If that's not a T-shirt, I am not a happy...
At least the hashtag. Yeah. Jack wants her, Jack needs her, Jack gets her.
Sounds like a good song, too. Like, that's a great chorus.
Yeah. So, although, if Navarro is the mole here, and we know he's up to some mole-like activity, he doesn't stop any of this. Like, he doesn't, like, call into anybody and be like, "All right, let's put somebody on Bauer." Like, he basically completely follows orders. Like, he gives Jack everything he wants. He doesn't send any bad guys after them. He basically doesn't track them, doesn't let anybody know what's up.
Yeah, so I think that's another feather in the cap of the theory that he's not working, that Steve Navarro is not working with Margot Al-Harazi. Whoever he's working with has a different agenda. He has something else in mind. So I'm not sure what that is, but that is, I think it's becoming pretty clear that there's another party in play here. Okay,
so then Kate Morgan finds out from Jordan that Jack Bauer wants you, and she's like, "There must be some mistake." But no, it's true.
This was another moment where I really thought that Jordan was showing some more of his mole colors. I really thought so. I thought that he was coming in and being like, "It's not a good idea for you to go out there and not be tracked. Like, you should totally be tracked." And now I guess it's just because, like, he really likes her, and it's kind of creepy. It's a little creepy.
A little bit. So, okay, basically...
Like, I always track you.
Yeah. So, then we get back to... We get to the we spent some time with the Al-Harazis tonight. Did you feel like the Al-Harazis have become a little cartoonish?
Become a little cartoon.
have they become even more cartoonish? Like, how evil could they be?
They're pretty bad. I love them. More and more, I'm really on board with the Al-Harazi storyline. It's so ludicrous. It's really fun.
Yeah.
Even without Naveed, it was a real party tonight.
All right. Well, Naveed's still gonna manage to screw things up from behind
beyond
the grave.
Freaking Naveed, man.
So they're flying the drones around up in the clouds. Ian's got it all on lockdown, and
he's really good.
He really picked it up quick, like a duck to water.
Very, very fast learner.
So Ian tells Mom, I'm worried about Simone. You shouldn't have killed Naveed right in front of her. And what happens, Josh?
Yeah, well, that ended up being probably pretty fair.
Yeah, it was a fair point, but Margot does not want to hear that.
Does not want to hear it, and it's basically, when you second guess your sister, you're second guessing me. So I guess we know who the favorite child is in this household.
Who?
It's not Ian Al-Harazi, I'll tell you that much. I think Margot loves her daughter.
I don't know. It's gonna be she cut her finger off 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but she didn't like doing that. She had to do it.
All right. Well, I'd rather get slapped in the face than get a finger cut off, for the record.
I would rather not have either of those things.
So basically, then we're taking Naveed's body away in like some sort of a tarp, and basically there's been a rain delay in the baseball game. We're gonna just roll up Naveed in like a carpet and carry him outside so nobody knows that it's a dead body. And Naveed's phone goes off, and it's Naveed's sister. And left a voicemail and said, Naveed, what did you mean when you said, hey, we got to get out of here because there's going to be some terrorist attack? What are you even talking about? Should I come see you? And that sets off a whole chain of events in this episode.
Sister Naveed.
Yeah. So Naveed has a sister, and we go to dispatch Simone to go take her out. Was Simone the right call here?
No way. Just send some crazy hired mercenary to go out there and just, whack her on the street.
Yeah.
First off, don't send Simone because she's emotionally attached. Secondly, don't send her because she's been stabbed in the leg and lost a finger today. Give her some bed rest. I think Simone pulled her weight. I think Simone can take it easy for the rest of the day.
Yeah, Simone has had a very busy last couple of hours. She started off with that guy who was the hacker guy. Right? Who developed the device. And she was doing God knows what with that guy. Then she killed that guy. Then
Stabs him in the ear.
Stabbed him in the ear. Went through the whole thing with Jack Bauer. She cut herself in the leg, too, right?
Yeah, yes.
Cut herself in the leg. Then she comes back. Then she bangs Naveed.
Bangs Naveed very fast.
Very fast. And she didn't need to recover much from that. And then
basically nothing.
And then gets her finger cut off. And then watches Naveed die. And then really, in the span of 5 hours, is now back out on the street to go kill Naveed's sister.
Yeah, who's, probably someone she was very close with.
Yeah. And, that finger really did heal up quickly. You would think that, if somebody cut off your finger 3 hours ago, you would think you'd have some sort of a oozing sort of thing around. But I think she was wearing gloves, right?
This is also the show that killed Jack Bauer and then resurrected him 2 minutes later, back in season 2. So I feel like we can't be too nitpicky.
Hey, I'm not questioning it. I'm just saying that it was a busy day for her.
People in the world of 24 heal faster than we do. I think that's just a thing.
All right. We had a very icy confrontation between Jack and Mark Boudreau tonight.
Awkward.
It was super awkward. I feel like Jack didn't help it.
No, he was loving it. I think he was all about the awkwardness. I think also Jack Bauer is just kind of an awkward guy.
I think so. A little standoffish.
Not really the smoothest operator in the house.
Yeah. Feel like that's also a tough spot to come home as Kim Bauer's boyfriend.
Yeah.
Would you rather meet the parent of your significant other and their Jack Bauer or their Margot Al-Harazi? Which is the tougher spot?
I would rather go home and hang out with Jack Bauer.
Okay.
Because I feel like I could, I don't know. I feel like I could feel good about that. I'd be terrified, but at least I wouldn't lose a finger. He might bite my throat out, though.
Yeah. So when Jack and Mark get together, Mark is like, I heard my wife came to visit you. What happened with you and my wife? And what does Jack say?
He doesn't say basically anything at first. He's like, "Why don't you ask your wife?"
And that's like, you know what? If I talk to somebody and like, oh, so I heard you ran into my wife. What'd you guys do? And somebody tells me, ask her.
That's like grounds for throwing a punch.
That's basically code for I had sex with your wife.
Right?
Isn't that code?
Yeah, I think that's pretty close.
Yeah. The right answer is nothing. Nothing.
Yeah.
I did nothing with your wife. Not ask her.
Right. We talked. We
Yeah,
talked.
that's it. That's it.
You know,
Talking.
lots of talking.
And Mark says, hey, you stay away from my wife.
Yeah, Mark's getting a little protective. He's protecting the plate.
Yeah. And then so Jack I think, makes him feel dumb then.
He pays him a compliment. He says, "She said you were good, a good man, and that she's happy."
Yeah.
And
Jack lying.
I really thought he was going to say, "She said you were good."
Yeah. I was like, oh, hey.
But I'm better.
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah,
Not the best. Not the best she's had.
That's where I thought they were going.
Yeah. So is that what Audrey said about Mark? I don't remember from 2 weeks ago.
No.
Yeah.
He asked her, "Is he a good guy? Does he take care of you?" And she's really not talking about it.
She doesn't say anything. Okay. So Jack checks in with Chloe, says, I need Belichick, and you know what? So do we.
That guy's awesome.
Yeah. He hasn't done much lately, but we get him involved. He's in the mix at least.
I'm very nervous about what happened to him at the end of the episode.
Yeah, the Brits knocked him out.
Not good.
All right, so the British people are basically they want to go with their own plan. They want to they don't like the idea that Jack Bauer is going to go stop Margot Al-Harazi.
No, they don't trust Bauer. They don't know Jack, so that's going to do it.
They don't know Jack.
They don't know Jack.
And basically, the Prime Minister gets off the phone with Heller after Heller's like, don't worry, Jack's got it. He's got this. They say, maybe James is losing his mind after all.
Yeah. You know, I think that secret's coming out.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if there is a press conference by the end of 24 Live Another Day. Yeah, I'm nuts. I've lost it. I've officially lost my mind.
Well, where do you think this ends? Do you think President Heller steps down at the end of the day?
If he's still standing, maybe.
Oh, my God. Again, until we see a vice president, I think he's going to make it.
I'd really be impressed if any president on 24 could make it past the first term. I think that would be very good. I don't think that's ever happened.
Nobody's ever been a two-term president in 24?
I don't think so. I think they're all one-termers.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Okay, so then Jack finally gets with Kate, and basically, I know you were pumped up anytime somebody named Jack and somebody named Kate hangs out.
We have to go back, Rob.
We have to go back. So Jack says that he was testing Kate.
Yeah, I don't know why she needs any testing.
Yeah.
She's kind of proven herself at this point.
I didn't know there was going to be a test, Jack.
It's not cool.
That's not cool. And so he basically fills her in on what the plan is going to be, and he's going to find out more about that later. So then Mark and Audrey get together. And
this is awkward, too.
This is awkward. Mark is making it weird. It didn't have to be weird, but Mark's making it weird.
It's like all falling apart for this guy.
Yeah. So Mark says, I talked to Jack, and he said, don't worry, I'm going to be gone soon.
Yeah, it's going to Russia.
Yeah, that's right. And so Mark gets the call from the Russian embassy. Now, could you tell us a little bit about why this is important for people who don't remember Mark's last dealings with the Russians, or what exactly is going on?
Well, sure. So the quick version is in Season 8, at the end of Season 8, Jack goes rogue and is investigating some Russians who were involved in the day's events, which is, all sorts of political assassinations and the assassination of his friend and the woman he had just had sex with, Renee Walker. And so he goes on a killing spree and kills a bunch of Russian diplomats who were part of the plot to do all of that. So he is now not only a fugitive from United States authorities, but he's also a fugitive from Russia. And the Russians really want Bauer. They want him in cuffs. So when news breaks out that Bauer is in the UK, in London. Steve Navarro and Mark Boudreau, they were kind of talking, and Mark is going to have Jack handed over to the Russians pretty quickly. And rather than bring Jack onto President Heller and Audrey's radar because those guys have history, Mark just forges James Heller's signature and promises him to the Russians. And now that is turning out to be a very bad choice.
And so Mark is going to meet with the Russians privately. What are they going to talk about?
I don't know. This is not going to end well. This ends with a resignation, would be my guess.
You think so? Do the Russians turn on Mark? Do you think, is that possible, or does Mark tell them that he forged the signature and they blackmail him into doing stuff?
I think that's a likely possibility, and then Boudreau probably gets cold feet and fesses up to what he did, and takes his licks, and something happens.
And commits suicide?
No, that's so depressing.
All right. So, because I feel like they can't kill Jack. I feel like if Jack kills Audrey's husband, I feel like that's too incestuous.
Yeah, and he's already done that before, so it would be repetitive at this point.
He killed Audrey's husband?
You don't remember season 4? He basically causes Audrey's husband at the time to die. He has to make a choice between CTU Medical operating on Audrey's husband or operating on a suspect they need to interrogate. He chooses the suspect, so Audrey's husband dies.
Oh my God! You have a much better memory for this stuff than I do.
It's very sad. So, well, hey, there's precedent for Jack getting Audrey's husbands killed, so it's certainly possible.
Yeah. Okay, so then after that happens, Jack basically tells Kate the plan. Now, I'm a little confused about what actually happened between Jack, Nils, and Rask.
So I think Nils is kind of just a whatever in the equation. I didn't get the full scope on Nils, but I kind of gathered that he was just a nobody that Jack is setting up to be an informant. And Jack was working within Rask's organization to take out other terrorist cells. So he was using that as an opportunity to bust people down basically on his own terms.
Is the real Nils alive?
I don't think so.
Is the real Nils working with the CIA?
I mean, I suppose it's...
Was somebody working with the CIA?
Do you think the real Nils is Metzger?
I don't know. I think there is no Metzger.
Who is Metzger?
Yeah, I don't know. I really again, none of this is important, but I was having a little trouble following the Nils, Rask, Jack triangle.
It's a lot of names.
It's a lot of names. Okay, so they're gonna bring in Kate
and they really
Morgan.
all sound like Game of Thrones names. They don't sound like real people names.
That's right. So we're gonna bring in Kate Morgan, and Jack is gonna basically roofie her up a little bit, and then say, "Okay, good news. We've got this person, but too bad she's sleeping. We can't interrogate her."
Yeah, I feel like that was a little transparent.
Yeah, that Jack couldn't see through that they were gonna have a way to be able to wake her up.
But even he says, this is a long shot. We are probably both going to die here.
Yeah, but Kate goes along with it. She's like, okay.
She's game. She's got nothing else to lose at this point. She's feeling betrayed by her husband. She's out of a job. Why not just go with it? She's still looking for some of that sweet redemption.
So I couldn't tell 100% from the camera angle there. Does Kate inject herself with the syringe?
It looked like it, yeah, because Bauer has this look of shock on his face.
Yeah, he was close enough that it could have been his hand, but it was like, okay, well, at least I think they tried to make her seem more active in this plan.
Yeah, he's kind of like, whoa, what are you doing there?
All right, so then we come to Jordan and Navarro, and Jordan's like, hey, Steve, I think I found something. And Steve's like, oh, that's interesting. Pay no attention to that. The partitions are missing.
Yeah. That little guy, I wouldn't worry about that little guy.
And Jordan's like, well, I'm going to need clearance to be able to investigate. It's like, let's concentrate on what we're doing here, Jordan. Bucko.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
All right, so we get Naveed's sister and Simone. And I felt like this was a little heavy-handed when not only do we get the sister, but also the kid. And the kid is saying, "Oh, hey, Simone, guess what? I grew 2 inches this year." So very adorable.
It's vintage 24. It's just like get it like increase the ham factor as high as you can, and you do that by throwing a kid into the mix. Just classic.
Yeah. So then we have with more of Mark and I'm sorry, that's the wrong. Then we go back to the British Prime Minister and the British forces, and they are following what Jack is doing, and they misunderstand everything. They think Jack Bauer has double-crossed the Americans.
Yeah, and again, you can kind of understand why they would think that. They have reason not to trust Heller right now. They have reason not to be confident in the Americans' ability to end this crisis. And for all they know, Bauer is this crazy psychopath who went on a killing spree 4 years ago and showed up here in London and caused all of this drama. So they don't trust Jack, and they trust their eyes, and what they see is Jack throwing a CIA agent into the trunk of a car. So what are you going to do? You're probably going to assume that this guy's up to no good.
Yeah, but it was all a misunderstanding.
Big misunderstanding, and it gets some people killed. It's very
all right, so Jack drives into Rask's hideout. I gotta say, Rask has a really good bad guy hideout. If I was a villain in a TV show or a movie, I would. If I was looking for like office space to set up, I would go and check out like all the empty warehouses. I'd want to make sure they had like a lot of like hook things that you know basically. That's all good stuff that you need. He just had a great setup for a villain.
It's a good evil lair.
It was very good evil lair. Very good.
It's a pretty good evil lair.
So they make Jack get out of the car, and everybody is very suspicious here. But Jack says that I killed Nils, and I know Nils has your money, but I have it back. Now, where did Jack get this $200K?
I think that this is it fabricated stuff, or frankly he probably has carte blanche right now, right? So he could probably just get that from Heller. Heller's like, he wants 200K, give him 200K. Jack wants it, Jack gets it.
Yeah, Jack wants it, Jack needs it, Jack gets it.
Yeah, I think those are words to live by. I really do.
So basically Jack hands over Kate, and they're gonna wake her up, but Belichick is watching from the sniper window, ready to go.
I feel like the greatest crime of this episode is that we didn't get to see Belichick use the sniper rifle.
Yeah.
I feel like that could have been a cool scene.
It was cool, but unfortunately Belichick did not. We did not get to see him in action since the first episode.
Does not work out.
All right, so Simone calls in to Margot and says, "Oh, don't worry. They don't know anything. It's good. I'm going to come home now." And like, well, let's just, better safe than sorry. You might as well kill.
Let's just kill them.
But she's got the baby. Like, oh, well, I guess you got 2 people to kill now.
Yeah, why did she send Simone? Really not a great call.
Not the best call they've ever made.
Is Margot Al-Harazi good at this?
I feel like she's really... You know what? It's almost like one of these like I know you're not like a big sports fan, but this happens in business too, where there's like somebody is like has made like a person has like made it in business and they're so wealthy, and then they have like their kids who are just like a bunch of idiots, but they're in the family business. Almost like Ivanka Trump is pretty good, but then some of the other Trump brothers that are Donald Trump's sons, you wonder if those guys are 100% the guys that you would want driving the ship. Right. And I think that Margot Al-Harazi is just trying way too hard to force all the kids into the family business. And I think they're just not cut out for this.
Yeah. You don't want everybody holding hands on this one?
No, I don't think this was the right way to go with the family business. I think that maybe, Margot should have had like maybe the kids there in sort of like a apprenticeship position and not necessarily being sort of the key cogs in this operation.
Yeah, because that Naveed guy really screwed things up.
Yeah, Ian's been pretty good, though, even though he had to get slapped this week.
Solid. Ian is solid, and I think a good slapping is good for everybody every now and then.
Okay, so Simone gets the orders. She has to kill Naveed's sister and her niece, I guess, and luckily they invite her to dinner.
Yeah, guess who's coming for dinner?
Guess who's coming to dinner? Simone. Boom. Okay. So then the bad guys, they have Kate woken up, and they are going to start torturing her very fast.
Yeah, she really gets the full Bauer treatment tonight. Reinstated after being suspended, tortured, knocked out. We'll get to it, but she has a kill move that is straight out of the Bauer playbook. More and more, I am starting to wonder if we are being positioned for the Kate Morgan spinoff.
Whoa. Would you like that?
I'm warming up to the idea. I think she's pretty great.
I would not be opposed. I don't know how you do 24 without Jack Bauer, but she would be very good.
Of all of the people they've had over the seasons, I don't know that I'm ready to put her as my number one pick for somebody who could have been Jack's successor in terms of carrying 24, but she could be there by the end of the season. She's got promise. She's good.
Now, a lot happens to Kate in a very short amount of time, because I have in my notes it was only 4:41 and she wasn't even awake yet.
Really? So that's very quick. She gets what? She gets strung up by her wrists.
Yeah. I have in my notes it's reek time.
It's reek time, yeah. She gets strung up by her wrists. Is the next thing she gets doused in gasoline and shocked?
No, I didn't think that. Was that gasoline? I just thought it was water.
It was really muddy water, if so.
Well, I didn't understand what they were doing. I was like, that's just like adding insult to injury that they threw a,
It was either gasoline or like poop water.
I think it might have. I'd buy poop water more than gasoline, because I feel like if I had an evil layer, I wouldn't be throwing gasoline around. I feel like that seems very dangerous, especially one of those bullets ignites the whole thing. So I don't think it was gasoline.
So in your evil layer, you just have buckets of poop water hanging around?
Again, I wouldn't even do that. I would just maybe do like poop colored water. And then you fake them out. But you could just tell Kate Morgan that it was poop water, and she would just like, oh my god, this is so gross. It's sort of like when you like blindfold somebody and you put a banana in the toilet, and then and you tell them to grab it.
What is this?
Yeah, you could do that to somebody.
I've never heard of this before.
Yeah. Oh, you never did that?
No.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you try that? You could do that. Try that with your wife.
I don't think that'll go over well.
But then she takes the blindfold off, and you guys both have a good laugh.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say we both have a banana now.
Well, no, then I wouldn't eat that.
That sounds like a bonus.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Irrelevant. It's gasoline. It's poop water. It's whatever. So they douse her in water.
Tell us when you listen to this podcast back. Tell us either write to Josh and I and use either hashtag gasoline or the team gasoline or team poop water. Tell us what you think. Basically, Chloe is talking us through what's happened. Sometimes Chloe is the narrator on this show.
Yeah, and she hasn't had. I feel like she hasn't had too much to do lately.
Yeah.
Other than just narrate things.
She's like, Jack, all he needs to do is log into the bank account, and then once he's in, then we'll be able to track everything back to Margot Al-Harazi. Like, okay, good. Keep me posted.
Yeah. It's helpful information for Jack and more so for us.
For us.
To kind of follow along with what their kooky plan is.
Okay, so because I was a little confused about why logging into online banking was going to lead them to Al-Harazi.
Yeah, I didn't completely follow that either. I think it was basically, we can start seeing because Jack knows that this guy has been dealing with the Al-Harazis. If they can access his bank records, they can see if there are any like super major transactions that were made recently, and an operation like this obviously would be kind of high value. So I guess that's kind of where he was going with that.
I mentioned that you peel the banana first, right?
We have our first hashtag Team Poop Water in, by the way.
Good.
Just want to throw that out there.
All right. So, what do you think about this whole Metzger gambit?
I want to know. It was like a who's on first. Who is Metzger? There's no Metzger.
Yeah.
What's Metzger's first name? Metzger doesn't have a first name. Who is Metzger?
Yeah. What kind of bank is this in 2020 where if you want to open up a bank account, you have to go to the bank and meet Metzger?
Yeah, you got to meet Metzger.
I mean, Jack wouldn't have done these things online. Like, he could have said, like, I opened up the account online. There was just I didn't talk to anybody.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that his move there is that he knows Chloe is so awesome at what she does that if there was a Metzger, Chloe would have found Metzger very quickly. And the fact that she's not finding anything, Bauer takes the risk. He decides if Chloe's not finding it, there's probably no Metzger, so let's just try that.
Okay, so there is no Metzger, and Jack is right. He was bluffing, and Kate gets tortured, and now here come the British invasion.
We have one hashtag for Team Water.
Okay, it's one and one?
1-1, yeah, it's a draw.
Okay.
Yeah, the British invasion. I was really hoping that we would see I'm sorry, I'm not crediting whoever said this online, but I agreed with this person that we should be seeing like a cool like British Bauer. Like there should have been like a very cool MI5 agent. I still think that there's time to introduce that type of character, but I want to see a little bit more of the British flavor with these soldier types.
Yeah. What, you want this to be like Agents of the Shield? You want like Daniel Craig in there to stop Jack Bauer?
Dude, if Daniel Craig was on Agents of Shield, that show would be so much better.
Well, I mean, would this be like some sort of like? I guess it would be kind of like the Avengers of spy movies.
That'd be great. I would love that. Everybody always wants to see Jack Bauer, Jason Bourne, and James Bond in a room together. I would be totally down with that.
That would be fantastic.
I don't think it's ever going to happen, except in my dreams.
Probably not. So Kate is continuing to be tortured, and we've really escalated from they cut her in the leg. That's like, okay, no NBD, right?
Right. Yeah.
Then we threw poop water / gasoline on her, and then like are electrocuting her with a car battery, and okay,
they bust out the power drill.
And then we get what are we gonna do there? We're gonna drill a hole in her forehead? I mean, I feel like that seems like we've probably gone too far at that point.
They've done this before on 24. Morris O'Brien, season 6, is tortured via power drill, and they are literally just drilling into like his shoulder and drilling into fleshy parts. And I'm hopeful that they didn't get Kate, in the commercial break at all. But yeah, I think they were just gonna basically drill holes in her until she started talking.
Okay, so after Belichick gets cold-cocked with the rifle, then...
That sucked. I was so upset about that. And where's Belichick now?
Maybe the British have him.
Oh, man, but all the British, blew up.
Well, we don't know what happened. I think he's okay. So they get Rask to log in, and then all he has to do was hit enter, but now here come all the British guys.
God damn, yeah.
Typical 24.
Freaking great timing, British dudes.
Yeah.
As always.
What'd you think of the battle that Kate had with killing those couple guys that were torturing her?
I love that. So she broke out the Doom Thighs, which is one of Jack Bauer's classic moves. He loves to choke people to death with his thighs. It's what he does. Any opportunity he has to break somebody's neck with his thighs, he will take. And she doesn't, kill the guy in that fashion. She just subdues him and then buries the knife in his back. But still very much Bauer-inspired. Way to go, A+, big fan of that. And then, she grabs the gun and offs the other guy very quickly. Kate Morgan, pretty awesome.
How bad did that guy who came in with like the Uzi suck at shooting an Uzi?
Yeah, really bad at Uziing at Kate Morgan. Yeah. Not very good.
Here's a girl like in handcuffs, and he's got an Uzi, and then he misses her, and then she just like grabs a pistol and like hides behind a dead guy, takes him out.
Yeah, just like knocks him in one shot.
Okay. So maybe they don't have on-the-job Uzi training. Maybe Rask is just having those guys like stand around holding the Uzi.
Yeah. It's just for intimidation. Everybody in the evil lair gets an Uzi.
Well, he is an arms dealer.
That's true.
Yeah, he's not an arms trainer.
Yeah, he's not a sharpshooter.
Okay, so then the British guys come in, but they make Jack get down on the ground. So what's going to happen now with Jack now that the British are involved?
I think they're going to take him in, and now they are going to take matters into their own hands. And I think that they were going to try and arrest Rask and bring him in and try and lure information out of him, but obviously Rask wasn't going to break, as we saw by the fact that he blows himself up.
Based on what we see in the previews for next week, it doesn't look like Jack is going to be spending a lot of time in the custody of the British.
Well, that blast basically knocks all the British people out, right? I mean,
Mhm.
everybody is either dead or unconscious at that point. I'm kind of worried that Jack is going to get set up for this.
Oh no,
That the optics on the situation are that Jack killed everybody in the room and ran off with Kate Morgan.
that would not be good.
That would be bad, but it would also be familiar territory for both the show and the character. So it would not be a complete surprise if that's where they're going.
Okay, so then we go back to, or we're tracing the phone to South London. Now, is the phone that we're tracking back to South London, is that Simone's phone?
Yeah, that's Simone's phone.
Okay, so we are at dinner, and Simone, very distracted, and says, okay, look, she finally breaks down and says, okay, you got to get your daughter, get out of London. And Naveed's sister, boy, this really runs in the family.
Yeah, these guys suck.
The whole Naveed family, they do not know what to do with prosperity.
The Naveeds are no good.
They're no good. So it's like, well, I'm calling the police about this. We have to get the authorities involved with that matter. And so Simone, again, could Simone get a weapon that's better than sort of like a box cutter? I mean, why is she sent out to kill all these people, and we're giving her like a steak knife at best?
Yeah, you think that they could give her an upgrade, other than just like this kind of rinky-dink switchblade.
Yeah, I mean, these people have drones that are flying around. Could we give Simone a gun?
That would be nice.
It would be nice for Simone to have a gun. I mean, we're sending her out to assassinate people. Could we do better than a knife?
I think you could. I think absolutely, but I think that wouldn't be the Al-Harazi way.
What, they killed Naveed with a gun?
I think the Al-Harazi way is the hard and poorly thought out way.
Okay.
That's
All right.
the way they do things.
So they kill Naveed's sister, and Simone's very sorry, but the little girl sees, and she chases the little girl around, and I kind of saw this coming once we had a couple near misses with the traffic. Simone then gets
double-deckered.
Yeah, hit by a bus.
You thought that Simone was going to... I thought that the little girl was going to get hit.
No, I was like, because I felt like they were making Simone into such a sympathetic person that I kind of felt like I was. What I'm surprised is that Simone's not dead. Now, I thought this is how they were just gonna kill off Simone here. But
yeah.
So Simone gets hit by a bus and goes flying, but I think she's gonna be okay.
For now.
For now, yes.
I think that she's not long for this world.
What was your reaction to seeing Simone get hit by the bus?
I think I burst out laughing. I think I thought that was
gotta hurt.
Yeah, I think I thought that was very funny. Yeah, she is just having the worst day.
It's a tough day.
Of all the people on the show, who is having the worst day? I think she's got this.
I think that the power rankings for worst day go 1, Simone, 2, Kate Morgan, and
3, maybe Chloe, because she started off tortured.
Chloe, maybe
she's doing okay right now.
President Heller.
Heller's having a pretty bad day.
Yeah. Rask.
Rask had a really tough day.
What about Nils?
Who is Nils? Where is that guy?
I don't know. Did Jack actually kill Nils, or Nils is just he made off with the $200,000 and is on a beach somewhere?
Yeah, he just cheesed it.
Yeah. All right.
He's hanging out with Metzger.
And then last thing that happened, Navarro is on the phone. We have a problem. We talked about it a ton at the top of the show. We don't know who he's working with, but we know that somebody does not want Kate Morgan's husband to be in the United States or working for the government.
Yeah, we don't know who he's working with, but you can be pretty sure that Bauer is going to get Steve Navarro in a room at some point and ask him, who are you working for? And he is going to get answers.
Absolutely. Okay, let's take some questions. We've spent a lot of time on the episode tonight. Let's get to your questions here on 24 Live. And let's start off here with Timothy Kyle Tucker, who wants to know, is the woman who was giving advice to the Prime Minister a possible mole?
Yeah, I saw some people saying this, that she seems a little mole-ish. You know how I roll, guys. I'm always on mole patrol, so everybody is a mole until proven otherwise, and she certainly seems like a likely suspect.
I don't know.
I certainly feel like we could have more moles than Steve Navarro. I don't feel like it ends there.
It's possible. I think she's very low on the mole power rankings.
Low mole.
Low mole. Okay. Matt the Golem, what an awesome episode. Who was Navarro talking to? Was it Boudreau? That was actually my first thought. But Boudreau and Navarro have had so many conversations before. It seemed odd that they would have a, like, sort of like, now Boudreau was going to call him up at, like, okay, Navarro, it's me. Like, why are you calling me like this? Why don't you call me on the regular phone like you always do?
Maybe it was Bane.
Oh, was it Bane?
Yeah, maybe.
Navarro.
Steve Navarro.
I don't want Kate Morgan on the street anymore.
Bauer.
Oh, no. I hope it's not Bane.
You don't like Bane? Not a Bane fan?
I wasn't a Bane fan, yeah. Too much.
A little much.
Okay, Canuck for Liberty wants to know, our buddy Johnny D. Silvero, what's a 24 season without Jack Bauer training someone to be just like him?
Yeah, this is one of the tropes of 24. It doesn't happen every season, but he does tend to have, some sort of protege along the way. Going back to Chase Edmonds, and I think Kate is very, very much a welcome addition to that family. I think that she's a great character to be paired up with Jack. I'm very excited about this pairing.
She'd be good. Okay. Jordan wants Jordan Kalish. Will Sansa crack under Jack's interrogation, or will Elaine come out and lie her way out of trouble? I
think that, we're talking about Simone. I think Simone is cracking in 5 seconds. She's ready.
Yeah, she's had a rough day.
Yeah, she's ready to go.
Big miscalculation by the Al-Harazis here.
Yes, 100%.
All right, Kate McKenna wants to know, we haven't seen many deaths so far. Which of the recurring characters will die next and how? All right, you want to have a death pool? Who's the next recurring character that's going to die?
Simone.
Simone.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see.
She's in the worst shape by far.
That would probably be the chalk pick right now.
Yeah.
And what about from the good guys? Who's the next good guy to die?
Ritter looked like he was in bad shape when we saw the drone attack at the top of the episode. He didn't seem like he was dead or dying, but he looked a little messed up. And I feel like one of the people at the CIA is going to find out about Benjamin Bratt probably as soon as next week, and that person dies.
Oh, that's going to be Jordan. I think that's going to be like he's going to come in and be like, Steve, I noticed that your login is like traced back to all the. He's like, oh, this is good work, Jordan. Did you tell anybody else? No, I came right to you. And I'm like, ah.
Why is your password for everything M0LE? So weird.
Yes, I could definitely see a Steve killing Jordan in the debriefing room with the candlestick coming in the next couple of weeks.
Outside shot that it's Ritter, but I do think Jordan is probably the better pick.
Okay. This is from Spyrite. Jeff wants to know, anyone willing to take bets at the Voice on the Phone is Adrian Cross? No, because of course it was. Oh. Okay.
Yeah, we're on board with you, Jeff.
Yeah, we're on board. That was a good theory. I wouldn't have come up with that on my own off the top of my head.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Okay. Riot Maker says, is it possible that Jordan is a mole for Margot and Navarro is a mole for Cross, and neither know the other? Could we have sort of like a Pina Colada song type thing where it's like they were both moles and neither of them knew it?
2 moles, 1 CIA? I could get on board with that.
How embarrassing is that?
It's very embarrassing.
Like, oh, you were moling the whole time? I was moling too. Oh, my God, this is so funny.
You think you could stop? It's kind of my thing.
Yeah. I got here first. I have seniority. I outrank you.
Yeah, it's true, but I'm better at it, so I don't know.
This is from Spicy Wasabi. Only 6 episodes in, has Kate Morgan supplanted Michelle Dressler as Josh's all-time favorite 24 female characters. Now, Josh, you recently ranked the top 24 CTU agents of all time. What publication was that for?
That was for Parade.com.
Okay. And in that, you listed Michelle Dressler as the top CTU agent of all time. Has Kate Morgan surpassed her?
No. Michelle Dessler, #1 forever. Khaleesi.
Forever?
Forever. Forever and ever. She's the best.
Oh, my God.
You don't beat Michelle.
All right. Imad Khan wants to know, what is your opinion on Jack's plan to get back undercover? I'm usually with Jack, but tonight I really got the feeling that he does not care about anyone else as long as he gets the mission done. Poor Kate Morgan was feeling a touch of what Jack was doing. Do you feel like that has Jack sort of lost his, what would you say, compassion?
Yeah, he doesn't seem to have. He's lost touch with a good chunk of his humanity. I think that's been a theme of this season, that he's kind of been this lost soul wandering around for the past 4 years without much of a cause and without much of a reason to go on. And I think he's still trying to discover that and figure out if he can get back to the hero that he used to be. And I think that we're seeing signs of it. But tonight with Kate, I think he recognized with her that she was someone who was willing to take risks. Like, she threw herself into the situation a few weeks ago when she came in and was like, Jack, your only play is to give me the drive. I'll upload it. We'll prove that the drone thing is totally going on. So he recognized in her that she was willing to throw herself in harm's way to get the mission done. So I think he sees, he connects to her in that way. He sees a kindred spirit. And I think it's less in this instance of him kind of not caring what happens to Kate, and more that he cares more about completing the mission. And given the circumstances and given who he knows in the situation, or better yet, who he really doesn't know, she's the one that he can bet on the most readily. So I think that's why he's throwing her into the mix.
Okay, I buy it.
Yeah.
All right, let's do a couple more questions. Eskimo Joe, great YouTube name. Do you think it's possible that Steve Navarro isn't a mole and that he's just trying to cover his own back and hide a mistake he made about Kate's husband?
No.
No chance he's not a mole? Mole by association?
I think that there's definitely a chance that I think there's a strong chance, and in fact I think it's likely that he's not working with the Al-Harazis, but he's working for somebody who has interests that run counter to the CIA.
I agree. I don't think this will be a misunderstanding.
I don't think so. There's not enough time for that to resolve itself. Josh,
you tweet Benji Bratt going on the field, dead or mole patrol?
That's what I tweeted last week. Yeah, I really thought that he was either going to be dead or turn out to be a mole. So I guess in hindsight, I'm a genius. That's great.
Yeah, you called it.
I'm so proud of myself. Yeah, but in fairness, I've called everybody a mole, so I don't think I can really celebrate too much.
All right, this is from John D. Silvera. Any moles in the chat room that we should be keeping our eye out? Josh, do you have anybody in the chat room that you think could be is acting suspicious?
Just on general principle, I don't trust that Chris Berger guy at all.
Chris Berger. Okay, we'll keep an eye out on him as well. Okay, and then Nana Jana Mike 2. I was thinking just one mole, but after tonight maybe 2 or even more. How many moles could we get in a 12-episode season?
A 12? One for every episode?
24 mole another day?
24 mole another day?
Yeah.
24 live another mole? Yeah, I'm into it.
All right, well, we've got moles now. We've got Jack Bauer actually killing people. We might have tortured.
We might have poop water.
We could have poop water, could have gasoline. We don't know, but we are really into it now in a 24 season. This is a real 24 season now.
Yeah, it's starting to heat up. Tonight was an awesome episode. I really loved this episode. We poked some fun in it, but I think that's honestly, for me, that's 24 at its best, when it's a little fun, when it's a little goofy, and I think tonight satisfied, and I think it also had some really badass moments as well. So all in all, a very, very strong episode of 24 in my opinion.
6 more hours to go, 6 more Monday nights here to go on 24 Live. We hope you join us the rest of the way. Make sure that you are subscribed. Either subscribe to the 24 Live iTunes feed. You can go to postshowrecaps.com/24 iTunes, or click the podcast tab on postshowrecaps.com to see all the different ways you could subscribe, or to our YouTube channel at postshowrecaps.com/YouTube. And as always, We love hearing what you guys have to say in the comments. We always try to comment back and interact with you guys. So if you have thoughts about this episode, whether you think we did a good job, think we did a bad job, let us know what you think, and we'd love to hear from you guys.
Yes, please do.
All right. Josh, very excited going forward. Do you want to tell us about what's coming up with Game of Thrones this week? Do you have a plan?
Yes, we are going to be doing Game of Thrones Book Club. That's going to be live at 4
Whoa.
p.m. Eastern tomorrow, Tuesday. So get ready for that. We are going to talk about all sorts of good stuff coming out of this crazy episode of Game of Thrones from Sunday night that I will not spoil here in case you do not watch Game of Thrones and plan to watch it someday. It was very good. And then we'll be doing the feedback show this week.
By the way, you can also send your feedback for 24 as well into us if you have a question that you're dying to ask us about 24 or Game of Thrones for our Game of Thrones feedback show that we do midweek. You can do those always at postshowrecaps.com/feedback.
Yes. I always like to hear about Jack Bauer. So anytime you have a question about Jack Bauer, please send it in. It always brightens my day.
All right, follow this guy on Twitter. He's at Round Howard. I'm at Rob Cesternino. We love hearing from you guys. We will talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody. Have a great night.